1999 area, my father was diagnosed with a brain tumor, a glioblastoma, I think is how they pronounce it. And so he had the opportunity to spend his last days in my house in Flagstaff. He passed away on September 11th of 2000. So that was an interesting scenario to walk through there. My wife was a nurse. My two daughters were nurses, so he had really good care. So we watched my dad go through that walk with a brain tumor. And somewhere around 2005, I started getting a lot of headaches in the back area of my head, the neck area. And my wife, being the nurse, said, you need to probably go get that checked. And so in the process of getting that checked, the doctor ordered an MRI for me to look at to see if there was anything that had happened. And when the MRI results came out, the MRI showed that I had a dark spot, a brain tumor. Well, they hadn't diagnosed it, but a dark spot right in the central cortex of my brain. And that led to a whole bunch of different things. Obviously, more MRIs, CT scans, and finally, we ended up at a neurosurgeon's office who received copies of the MRI and stuff. And he looked at it and said, you have one of three things. He said, you have either a brain tumor, lymphoma, or MS. And I'm like, well, that was exciting. Which one do I sign up for? And I asked him just flat out, based on what you're seeing, what are you thinking it is? He said, where it's at, it's a brain tumor. And I said, okay, so how long do I have? Because I had just gone through this with my father. And he said, probably no more than 5 years. So that kind of started a whirlwind of thinking processes. And we were pastors at our church, music, so I love music. I knew healing songs that were out there. Prayer, I had people that believed in prayer, all of that. And the doctor started me on some real strong steroids, which just wrecked my body. Kept me up really late, woke me up really early, and so we processed through there. And after hearing the doctor say to us, you've got roughly 5 years, go live your life as best as you can. And we kept doing MRI follows-ups and stuff. And about a year later, 2 years later, the doctor started coming back. And he says, I don't understand this, but the tumor is shrinking. In the meantime, we had gone down to the Mayo Clinic down in Phoenix, where a lot of the specialists are, and we had a specialist that some friends of ours had worked with in the past, and he was a Christian brother. And he came in and they did their MRIs there, and he says, well, it's definitely, you've got something there. And he said, but I just don't feel that we're supposed to take it out right now. And this is coming from the surgeon. And he said, there's just something in me saying, leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Leave it alone. And of course, his assistants, let's schedule them, because that's how they make their money. And he said, I don't feel like we're supposed to do anything right now. He said, let's wait on it. And let's check back in 3 months. So 3 months came and went, and they went in and they did some more MRIs, and it was still there, but hadn't really changed a lot. And eventually I went home, and I woke up one morning, probably about 3 a.m. in the morning. Nobody's up in the house, and I went out into the living room and I turned on some praise and worship music, and one of the things I turned on was Terry McAlmond's Heal Me song. And I just remember that song playing, and I called out to the Lord. I said, God, if you would just heal me. Just touch it, Lord. And just like we're talking right now, the Lord verbally just came out and said, I already have. And I remember it was so audible. I remember looking around the room going, who's up with me? And I said, what? And the voice spoke, this is Jesus. I already have. And it was just like, okay, God. And I still questioned him. All right, you say you're Jesus. You got to say your name, because I know the enemy can't say the name of Jesus without, And again, he said, this is Jesus, and I already have. And I said, okay, I believe that. I believe that 100%, Lord. So I was getting monthly MRIs. Went to the doctor. They did the MRI with the contrast, and they pulled it up, and they looked at it. And they asked me, what are you here for? And, well, like all the other MRIs, you have them on record, all the other MRIs show that I've got a brain tumor. And they're saying, there's nothing here. There is absolutely nothing here on this MRI at all. And I told the story, and I shared with the doctor that night, that morning encounter with Jesus, and the day that he came in and said, I already have. And since that day, there's been a few other trials in my life. All of us, the word says we're going to have that. And I just so much rest in those words that Jesus came and spoke into my life that said, I already have. And even today, which I've shared with some of our groups here, even today, and this has been, almost 20 years now, the Lord is still revealing himself in miracle-working power in my life with a really rare disease called MMP that he sent me to a really godly doctor, and we just wiped that out, really rare cases of that. And the other night, I was probably about 3 months ago now, I was just really sitting there sharing and thinking about Christ and his crucifixion. And I heard these words, which one of those 39 stripes carried my healing? Which one of those thorns on his head brought my salvation? Which drop of blood that hit the ground changed my life?